Are we SoD haters in here? Sony, do you think we're hating about SoD? Look at this. What's bad about SoD? I got 10 things. What's good about SoD? I got 12 things. Okay? We're actually out here making lists and being positive. And I'm dieting. Okay? We're on a body positivity movement. I haven't had a bagel today. I'm trying to lose 10 pounds that I gained. And we're fitnessing it up. We're in the gym. We're running. Every other day, we're alternating. Guys, I'm going to read this off to you if you haven't been here. What is bad about SoD P4? Drop rates on rare items is a bit too high. Makes it feel like the joy of getting a SGC or Fell Striker is a bit tarnished. But the argument with this is that we're on an accelerated timeline so that the drop rate should be higher because Blackwing Layer and stuff is coming out way sooner than normal. I still think it's a bit too high, but that's my take. I don't like that the vendor gives the flask recipe. It really drives the prices down on these rare, hard to get items that Classic has. Though this is kind of my bias here because I still think that like when you get these recipes, when you loot them, it should be something that you get excited about. And I don't get excited about getting them anymore because I know they're not worth anything. And that to me is a big part of what makes Classic fun to me. Mage mana is a big issue. We got no new water. And I can even put this quality of life here. I could put this into 1. Why do Warlocks get to be able to duel people and get shards from them and they get closets? Mages don't have tables. Why do we not have a table yet? And why is all the gear twice as good as it used to be, but the water's the same? Arms is shit and F Gladspec. I know a lot of people really like Gladspec though. I think CDank really likes Gladspec. Some people like it, man. It might not be for Sony. I heard, what I've heard so far about Warriors is that their runes are a lot harder than everybody else's. I would like to see challenge mode for dungeons and Season of Discovery. I think it fits so perfectly well. They don't have to call it Mythic Plus, but they could call it heat levels for dungeons. Imagine if they did heat levels for dungeons, guys, and you could just scale the dungeon up as hard as you wanted for achievement. I think that would be fun. I think it fits SoD. I mean, they're already doing it in the raid. Why not do it for the dungeons? Why is the WoW community so doomer? It's the worst. Bro, we're more divided as a WoW community than I've ever seen. Sony, since you left, it's gotten worse and worse and worse. Like the one example, bro, is like people are like, we want new content. We want new content. And then all of a sudden, they give us a new dungeon and people are saying that they didn't put anything new in the game. Like, we wanted new content. That's like the #1 thing I hear, like the Classic Plus community, the people that wanted like just Classic Plus or like Vanilla Plus. They're like, all we wanted was a little bit of new content. We didn't want all these changes. And I'm like, we got a new dungeon. They already announced a new raid. They gave us a completely revamped Molten Core with a new boss and heat levels so we could do it on challenge modes. I'm like, this is exactly what you asked for. And now you're complaining about it, saying they didn't give you anything. I honestly don't have a problem when people complain if they come with a solution afterwards. And so it's like, SoD is ass. If you were to come be like, yo, SoD is trash, I'm like, all right, what would make it better? And then they have nothing good. And my favorite thing is when they have the worst take ever afterwards, and everyone can just be like, no, that's fucking trash. Because I want people to know what it feels like to have their take be called trash. It's not easy to come up with a good take on World of Warcraft that everyone can enjoy, that everybody would agree with. I don't think it's possible to have everyone agree on anything, but I mean like the majority of people agree with what you're saying. Like try to say something that people agree with. It's not hard. I mean, it's not easy. We could use some quality of life. So let's go over. This is borderline my take. I'm not writing anything down that I don't agree with here. My take on SoD is like, they're giving away rare items a little bit too easy. Mage in certain classes need some quality of life. I don't think that there's any reason that Arcane Brilliance takes your entire mana bar to buff one group. Do you know how many groups are? There's 4 groups in a raid. It would take me 2.5 minutes to buff everybody in the raid if I was the only mage. Is that necessary? Oh, on top of that, I have to make water for everybody in the raid, which would take me another 5 to 10 minutes. Like, just give me a mage table. Warlocks have a summoning gate. You know what I mean? Like, give me some quality of life. the camping BRD thing, like they had to have seen this coming. Like camping outside of BRD and farming people that are just trying to do a dungeon is, in my way, is not really enjoyable PvP. So this is griefing to me. Some people maybe enjoy it. I don't think it's great game design. They didn't bring back GDKPs, which I personally like GDKP. This is my personal take. I know everyone doesn't agree with that. Some runes are way harder to get than others. I'll put like warriors. I'll put like warriors in here. Some people just have harder to get runes. Most dungeons are undertuned. They're not scaled to new gear. I mean, we are 4 or 5 pulling Ubers. We are literally 1 pulling Ubers, like entire rooms. The class balance in general, there are some classes that are clearly way better than others. And some classes don't suffer from resource management, and some classes do. And then there's a lot of OG Prebis items that are useless now, which could have maybe been tuned, but that's not as big of a deal because they're just new Prebis items. So if I could take some of those off that list, but that's like my list of what I think. Those are the faults that I think SoD has, and that's really nothing. It's really not that bad, to be honest. What's good about SoD P4? Most of the classes are fun to play. Mage is extremely fun to play. It has a literal 12 to 13 button rotation. And that's not even including power-ups, resets, and utility. That's just damage abilities, which I think is amazing. The new dungeon is hard, it's challenging, it's fun. The ring runes for plus hit were a major W to balance out the issues. Oh, and to capitalize on that, racial abilities are now game-wide. So you have priests can all get Fear Ward now. Like the racial advantages are now less impactful, which I think is great. You shouldn't be penalized at the character selection screen for choosing the wrong race. You have instance world bosses. You have the MC heat levels for challenge mode. Lots and lots of Prebis farm. I would say the Prebis farm in SoD is even more than the original vanilla farm. There's even more of it, and I love it, man. I love that your Prebis items just come from so many different places. 2-set PvP, 2-set tier 0.5, new items. You have the Tur vendors. You have so many different places where your Prebis gear is coming from. I really like it, man. New and improved loot, like previous OG BIS items they may not be the best anymore, but some items got upgraded, so it's like there's new pre-BIS. So in a way, I really love that. You have the Turs for your gear, which from the vendor, and then you can use them to buy boxes once you've already gotten your gear. Tier sets plus item changes for multi-spec classes, like druids and priests. You're no longer your tier set is no longer going to be just druid healing. Like you actually have a tier set for feral druid now, and boomkin, which feels nice. It does feel like a fresh alliance have Ren buff now, and they're utilizing underused areas of the world that we normally don't go to. So in that sense, I mean, those are the things that I really like about SoD so far. PvP, I can't really touch on it. Do you guys have any feedback about SoD PvP? I mean, we could put that in a negative. PvP is, I could put that here. Class balance in PvP and PvE and PvP. Like the class balancing issues, right? They can't really balance PvP and Classic. It's tough. No one's really doing PvP at the moment. Anyways, if you think you guys think that list is pretty good, anything you disagree with, please tell me.